What's up, YouTube? So this is a new channel that is going to be dedicated to me and my brother building our new project car, which I am currently sitting in, which is this. It's a 1998 Nissan Stagea 260RS. Probably one of the rarest cars in the US right now. Get a better picture of the front. Yeah, as far as I'm aware, they were only ever sold in Japan, and I think there were only something like 1,700 of them ever produced. It's actually produced by Autech, you can see right here, which is like a subsidiary of Nissan, basically, that built like highly tuned versions of their cars back in the 90s and whatnot. But yeah, so with the the 25-year-old rule on importing cars, like the classic car rule, whatever it's called. Yeah, and this being in '98, this car just became legal to import in 2023. We imported it from Japan through a company in Miami. And what kind of makes this car so special is that, I mean, essentially it's a GTR wagon. It has an RB26. It shares most of its suspension with an R33. There's a few differences in the rear, but for the most part, most of the suspension is like R32, R33. So we got pretty big plans for the build. Our goal is around 1,200 horsepower. I mean, we're trying to get the cars into 8. Like 8's is the real goal, so we think we probably need like 1,200-ish horsepower to get there. Yeah, so for the build, the block, we've got a billet RB30 on order from Bullet in Australia. We're actually having them machine the block too, but the queue for that was like 6 months out, so I think it's still probably going to be like 3 or 4 months before we can get that block. And I think for the so we're doing big single turbo. I think off the top of my head, I think it is a G45 1500. We're getting a PPG 6-speed sequential, which should be arriving here pretty shortly, actually. So we'll probably record installing that at some point in the next few weeks. We're doing a dry sump system actually too, which I've never done that before. That's going to be a first for me. I'm super pumped to do that. That should be a lot of fun. We're going to be refreshing all the suspension, which you can probably see that we have already started to do. We've today removed all of the stuff in the rear suspension. We're probably going to do custom coilovers, I think, because there's not, I mean, the car does share a lot of parts with an R33, but there are some parts that are not the same. So like R33, I think, is like an eye mount at the bottom of the coilover, and the 260RS is a fork mount. There are some companies that do sell 260RS coilovers, but there's just not many of them, so we might wind up doing some custom program, do something like Tane or something, I don't know. Yeah, and all the diffs are gonna, the front and rear diff are gonna be going. We haven't like made a decision on what we're doing there yet. Alright, I think that's it for the build. Brother. But yeah, we already started tearing into it actually. Which you can see, the rear suspension is mostly gone. Yeah, we got the car with like 100,000 miles on, or 100,000 kilometers on it. It's like 60,000 miles, but it is super clean. Show the undercarriage real quick. Do it this way. There's some surface rust, but honestly it's pretty clean, and there's no dirt and grime on the bottom of this thing. It's just crazy because every older car I've ever worked on is just covered in dirt and grime. There's some corrosion on the bolts that made some of the stuff a bit should take apart, but For the most part, yeah, just super clean. Alright, I'm gonna lower it real quick and then probably show the inside and then pop the hood and show the RB26 for a sec. Alright, perfect. Alright, so lift is lowered. Right hand drive, obviously, so I'm gonna on the other side of the car. So yeah, this is my first time driving a right-hand drive car, honestly, and that honestly it was, I mean, driving this car just stock was a ton of fun. I don't know if a lot of it was the novelty of driving right-hand drive, which was fun. I mean, it's very different. Like, my left hand always just felt like didn't know what the fuck to do. Also, I could never find the blinker. Like, my brain just could not comprehend where the blinker was. But yeah, turn like the light on. I don't know if you guys can see that very well. But yeah, interior super clean too. Pop the hood real quick. Alright. Yeah, I was gonna record a video of me driving this while stock. Because honestly it's a ton of fun. I wanted to like compare it to after the build's done, but we got super antsy and tore the car apart before I could do that, so that sucks, but is what it is. Really wanted to get the build started, but yeah, pop the hood. Let me show the RB26 real quick, and then that'll be it for this video. Alright, so yeah, RB26. You can see like down into the engine bay, like this shit is just so clean. Especially for like a 25-year-old car. It's wild. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the introduction of the build. Can't wait to get this shit really started.